Tanzavidurvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimmayim Yo Yo Na Prachodayant Om Bhuvasvam Tanzavidurvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimmayim Yo Yo Na Prachodayant Om Murmuvasva Tanzavidurvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimmayim Yo Yo Na Prachodayant Om Murmuvasva Tanzavidurvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimmayim Yo Yo Na Prachodayant Om Murmuvasva Tanzavidurvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimmayim Yo Yo Na Prachodayant Om Murmuvasva Tanzavidurvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimmayim Yo Yo Na Prachodayant Shanti 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 Om Bhavavasva Tanzavidurvarenyam Bharenyam Savidurvarenyam Bharenyam Bhargo Bhargo Bharenyam Savidurvarenyam Bhargam Bharenyam Bhargo Bhargo Bharenyam Bhargo Devasya Bhargo Bharenyam Bhargo Devasyam Bhargo Devasya Bhargo Devasya Dhimmayim Devasya Bhargo Bhargo Devasya Dhimmayim Devasya Dhimmayim Devasya Dhimmayim Dhimmayim Yo 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 dio dio yo no no dio dio yo na yo na prechorea no yo na prechoriant no na prechoriat prechoriant shanti shanti shanti. Take a moment, find your center. Your center is important. The words are not important. The past is not important. Your center is important. So, this is your most important treasure. So keep your center. Find your center. To be, and then establish yourself there. Be rooted, be grounded. Give value to that, cultivating that. Because it's not an appearance, it's not a pose. It's a poise, it's a rhythm. It's a commitment, it's a showing up. You can tell someone who's a real musician when that way they hold their instrument. You know someone's serious sports player, they're serious, the way that they hold their body, the way that they move. It's not putting a pose, it's not doing a pose. It's a poise, it's a way of life. So, what choice do we have? To be centered or what? What's the other option? So at all costs, this is a necessary training for deep level of health, which doesn't just mean no sickness in the body, but the health which means a connected, like a aliveness, a connectedness, a presence. Then the spine is connecting the body, heart, and mind, the breath, the controlling the nervous system and the hormones and everything. So it's not a question of good manners, but it is a question of good digestion for sure, and good breathing, good sleep. So we must awaken our spine and learn the habit of proper care for the vertical spine. Especially this vertical spine is a unique situation, and it's an incredible opportunity. So unlocking the secrets of the spine through the breath, it's like a well. There's a well, and when the connection is made, then What needs to come up can come up. What needs to go down can go down. Otherwise, everything's stuck. So the spine is the key. So find your center is not like it's not a pose. It's a depth. To be established at the deep level. At the deep level, there's no question. Who am I? What should I do? What should I say? Where should I go? What should I wear? None of that. That's only on the surface. So we make a habit to be connected at the deep level. Why not? It's the same as any other habit. The habit of tripping over the past. What's the difference? It's all in our mind. Nobody else knows. Whatever we do, whatever trap or whatever story we're telling, even if we explain our story, they have a different understanding. Not the same story. So, what story should we tell? This is the question. Which is the right story? And so we have to start with this idea of knowing. What do I know? I know so many things. What do I know? Do I know the ocean? I think I know the ocean. Of course I know the ocean. I've seen the ocean before. I've been in the ocean. But do I know the ocean? What would it mean to know the ocean? Do I know myself? Do I know this body? I think I am this body, for sure. This is me. I am this body. And so all day, every day, I am that. So I must know it, for sure. Because if I don't even know myself, then how could I possibly know anything else? But when it comes down to it, push comes to shove. Do I know my wrist? What's going on in my wrist right now in this very moment? What's going on? I have even a fragment. At best, I have a little bit of conceptual idea, something like this. But what's actually going on in this moment, in infinite layers and dimensions and ways, all interconnected. In fact, everyone's working together except for me. In fact, not only do I not know what it is, that everything else is in rhythm together, and somehow I'm outside of that rhythm. So, even if I studied my body my entire life, I would barely scratch the surface, and I still would not know in this moment. Not abstract, not like an abstract knowledge, but direct knowledge of who am I, of what is this body. Do I know my body? I know my body. Do I know the ocean? Do I know water? I'm drinking water, but do I know water? What do I know? Really, if we examine carefully, we really don't know anything. And this should be a relief, because we can't know anything also. And so this path is not the path of knowing, but the path of being. The sugar doesn't know its sweetness. The peace doesn't know itself. That which is peaceful, when you're peaceful, you're not thinking about peace. You are peace. It's not separate. When you become separate, then it's a mind. The thought of peace is not peace. The thought of peace is a story, a concept. it's taking you away from this moment. The only possibility for peace is in this moment, not in the mind. And so the concept of happiness is stealing the real happiness. Instead, we create all these rules and ideas, but the real happiness is not a thought. So, instead of reaching for something better in the future, it would seem our whole life is geared towards this idea of there. And there, we're going to be our best self, and everything is going to be good. But what we have to see is this idea of there is robbing us of here and now. Because here just becomes a subsidiary. Here becomes a way of getting there. Here becomes not enough. I'm not enough, life is not enough here, but there it will be. The issue with this framework is that the whole life it's been there, we've been making here wrong, we've been making ourselves wrong. Even if we can get there, which is questionable, we don't know how to be here. We're still pushing, we don't know what it is to be present. All we know is the pushing for something over there. And so even if we could make it, we would still miss it. And so the yogis said, well, not even the yogis, actually, this was common, obvious for everyone before electricity and all this super modern convenience which has taken us out of our natural rhythm. Before, everyone, like the rest, only human beings and the animals living close to humans are out of their natural rhythm. If we look around in the nature everywhere else, life is totally still 100% being itself. From the amoeba to all the micro, even your cells mostly, but there's some of this cancer, these things. So life is perfectly being itself at every level, everywhere, because life is a super intelligence. Everything in the seed, and the seed is contained everything and nothing. And so this is there's no way to know it, because you are it. It's the everything. What do I know? What do I know? My knowledge, my memory, my past is a tiny little fragment of the experiences I've had that are kind of woven together and polished and distorted and twisted based on different emotions and society, all kinds of things. Then this little shifting thing that nobody else knows, only me. Is that myself? Is that really me? Does that have anything to do with and so it's impossible to know, because even if I knew everything, if I could remember everything, that's still a tiny fragment of that which is. So we see it's impossible to know. But because life, everything is that super intelligence, then you can just express that as your nature. And so this is why we focus on this idea of tuning the rhythm, tuning the vibration in your breath, in your nervous system. This pressure, like a pressure. The trees have a pressure too they're using to balance the flow of energy. So you have to train the pressure system. You have to filter. It's like a filtration. Same when your hair is knotty and twisted and like dry. If you put the nice conditioner and oil and then brush your hair and then comb your hair and then a finer and finer comb, after some time, after some days, it becomes very smooth, it becomes very nice. In the same way, you have to treat your nervous system. We focus so much attention on the surface of our body and very little on the essence, on the core. But it would seem that life is growing from the essence. That's where the health will come from. That's where aliveness, that's where the beauty comes from. That's where the real power comes from within, not from the surface. And so at least we can focus a little bit of time and energy to nourish and nurture this essence of life, and then see what happens. Right? Like an experiment. we recommend doing 100 days experiment. 100 days after you leave, committing every day to a fixed daily tuning sequence. 30 minutes, that's 2%. And you could do longer, you could do shorter. But something you know you can do every day, and you do it every day. If you have extra time, you can always do more, not a problem. But nevertheless, again, the focus is not on proving something. The focus is on being in tune. Once you establish the habit of being in tune, then you can drop it, you can do whatever you want. Who cares? Right? But the question is, can we be in tune? Is it possible to be in tune? For sure it's possible to be out of tune. We all know that one. But is it possible to be in tune? This is a fair premise. We never had this kind of training in the elementary school, middle school, high school, in the church and synagogue. Everything was never stressing the importance of being present. Or if talking about being present, it was very matter of fact. But what about the mechanics? What about the mechanics of awareness? We never train our minds, our willpower, our focus. And now everyone, attention disorder and this constant stimulation, like eating candy all day, every day. Constantly eating candy and like, oh, why aren't you still? Why? We're forced to sit in these desks and controlled at a time when the life force is very much alive. And then after they kill the life force, they say, oh, go move, do something. Now, the whole thing is a hoax. The whole thing is a joke. But we have to, anyway, whatever training, whatever conditioning that we've been through, we have to unlearn and relearn every day. Every day, born again, every day, die again. Completely fresh, even every breath. The yogi is born and dies every breath. That's the infinite evolution, quantum evolution. Otherwise, we live in that same story for weeks and months and years. So, give value to your center. Find your center. Establish that. 100 days. Some people really want to play music at a high level. They're going to practice. When I was growing up, it was 10, 11, 12 years old, practicing 4 hours, 5 hours a day. Sports players are dedicating this kind of time to putting a bowl in a basket. But to be yourself, everyone, I want to be myself. But what can we do? What should we do? Just wait for it? Is it going to happen? How will it happen? We've been taught not to be ourselves since we were infants. The people pleasing and the parents forcing us to do like this, and so even you have sometimes a really virtuoso musicians or sports players, still they undergo that same training continuously. Even after reaching the highest level, they still do the same basic drills and exercises. It's the ego now. We want to prove something. We have something to prove. Everything we do is prove something. Then you can never be present to be yourself. Yoga is the art of presence. So who are we proving? We're competing with ourselves, with the past, with this idea, with the standard. So there's a difference between the ego practice and the soul practice. Ego practice is for trying to prove something. It's a performance, a competition, even with oneself. And not good enough or too good, it's the same, everything. It doesn't. So the soul practice is just to be present, not trying to get somewhere. not trying to be here even. It's not a trying to be here. Presence is not a trying. Presence is when you forget yourself. But unless you're in tune, it's almost impossible because everything's blocked in constant pressure, constant pain. So, train, like a musician trains a string instrument, you have to train the bowing. Eventually, the bow becomes so smooth, so much control, precise control over the quality, the texture, the resonance, so many subtleties. Train your breath. There's so many secrets in your breath. All the power, all the emotions, all the energy, everything is in your breath. The breath is not the breath. The breath is the activation of like an activator or something. The glands, the joints, the spine, the brain, and the field around you. So your body doesn't end at the skin, but your body is projecting like a light bulb. Like the light doesn't stop at the edge of the light, it's shining around. And so your thoughts and emotions are projected, and essentially you're swimming in them. Like we think, like nobody can see my thoughts. Like our body, we take care because everyone can see. But our minds, our hearts, we just think the thoughts and emotions and they just go away. They come from nowhere, they go back. Actually not true. We're swimming in them. We're swimming in this, and through your breathing habits, you're perpetuating and these patterns, these thoughts, emotions. So we need to purify. We need to filter it. We don't need to understand. It's not possible to understand. We need you filter the dirty water, the water becomes pure. So every day you wash your mind. Every day you wash your heart. Every day you wash your body. Means not the surface of your skin with chemicals, but you rinse your nervous system, your circulation, your spine, your glands, your organs, your cells. You take time to flush, to charge, to clean, like cleaning. Cleaning, we clean everybody, everybody's cleaning. Now we get the machines to clean. Someone else is cleaning, but still, you clean your clothes every day. It's good. Brush your teeth every day, very good. Which is more important? You brush your teeth, you clean your mind. You don't have to choose. We don't have to have a more important. So dedicate 2% to tune yourself, to be at home, to train, to remember what it is to be at home. Remember in your cells, in your breath. Not remember with the thinking. Now, this time is the training, the state of no mind. Because only in no mind can you be present. As soon as the mind jumps, it's either in the past or the future, and the future is just the past. The future is a projection based on the past. The future doesn't exist. Whatever your idea of the future, you're the only one that has that idea. Nobody around you, or the people in other countries, or the different insects or animals or anything is sharing that idea of the future that you have, and for sure the real future, whatever that means, will have nothing to do with the idea in your mind. Impossible. So the future is just a probability based on a past experience of a tiny fraction of the existence, the infinite existence, based on me at the center of it. So As the mind goes to the future, it's far away from here. No. The past is essentially the same. It's my own, like you dream at night. Anyone sharing that dream? Anyone see that dream again? Can you even get that dream back? When it goes, so like that. The past. So if we're living in the past or the future, then that's not the real world. That's impossible world, where everything sounds so good, but it's actually like a ghost. And then the real things have no flavor because the mind is addicted to the false ideal of oneself or existence, how it should be. So it's very tricky. That's why we recommend take time each day to center yourself, to tune yourself in the silence, in the stillness, to forget everything. First, forget yourself. Only when you forget yourself can you be yourself. It sounds paradoxical, but it's not. Anything that, if it requires effort, then it's not being yourself. Effortless to be yourself. It's effortless for the banana to be the banana, the mango tree, the grass, the grass. To be, life is effortless. Yourselves are effortlessly being themselves. So who are you? Who are you? Your heart is being itself. Your organs are being themselves. Totally, 100%, no question. They're never questioning that which their existence of who they are. Each cell. So, if you can release a little of the tension, that existential tension of like getting it right or like figuring it out or something, and just to create there's a spaciousness, and then you can breathe deeply, and slowly this becomes much more, this state of presence is much more attractive than like stressing out continuously about the past and the future. To be present doesn't mean you're oblivious to that which is going on around you. It's not an ignoring of life, but it's, you don't need to continuously be like throwing your mind all over the place, constantly like a hammer, smashing everything into pieces, thinking it back and forth and left and right and up and down. Think one time and then done. Reduce the thinking by at least 30%. It will be infinitely more powerful and efficient. Most of the thinking is not even thinking, it's just mechanical regurgitation of information because of fear, emotion triggers everything. So, most important, reduce the thinking. It's like a spasm, a muscle spasm. Thinking is actually essentially like farting. When you eat the wrong food, you get gas. You have to let the gas out. So thinking, most thinking, it's nothing, it's not like this glorious thinking. It's just a mechanical regurgitation of negative, ugly bullshit. Really, and honestly, we have to examine very carefully. If there was a friend, we had a friend who is talking the same way as our mind. And so often wrong, or coming to conclusions that are false. How would we trust them? Would we listen to them all the time? Just like constantly obsessed with what do they say? No, you ignore your mind. You have to learn to ignore your mind, at least for a few seconds, at least 1 second. 1 second. Put down your mind means everything you've ever known. No body, no past, no future, no earth, nothing. You put everything down, no light, no darkness, no time. Just for 1 second, drop the infinite weight of everything and be present. It can't be known. Nothing to know. Practical knowledge, of course, practical things will come. When you're in tune, then you can learn anything. You can do anything. Most beautiful thing is to be yourself, be authentic, be wild, be free. This is only possible for a child. The concept of adult is essentially you sacrifice your aliveness to be a serious person. And then the whole focus, the whole goal, everyone's goal is somehow a career or something. Like the goal is to find a career. But the goal is really, each moment is the goal. Each moment is the purpose. It's not something like some grandiose thing on the shelf in the future. The purpose is each moment, each interaction, each breath, each word, each silence. If we live like this, like the purpose is now, it's very radical. Because then we don't have to find it. You're living your purpose. It's not possible to find it. You can only live it. Because it's not a thing. Your purpose is not a thing. You can't find it. Also, yourself is not a thing. You can't know it. The ocean is not a thing. It's not some thing. Just another thing. It's infinite. So, then we're free. We don't need a story. We don't need an obituary. Is this the meaning to know myself? The only way is in not knowing myself, I can discover myself each moment. No? Otherwise, it's done. It's dead. Just telling that once upon a time. The beauty is that I don't know myself, so I get to discover myself infinitely. This is the openness and receptivity of the child, beginner's mind. So the life doesn't need to explain itself, to announce itself, to make sense. This is why we recommend to tune yourself. If it's possible to be in tune, for sure we should be in tune. Then tap into that deep aliveness. Embody that aliveness in your body, in your physical body, in your heart, in your mind. Are alive. Alive. That's the yoga. That is the process of yoga. What detachment means in terms of Buddhism are all this meditation currents. Detachment. So they say there's two kinds of meditation, but only one is correct. There's a meditation with a meditator, and there's meditation without a meditator. So, detachment Means without one to be detached. In detachment, there's no one to be detached. First, there's the state of no one. First, you become no one. Then detachment is automatic. It's not someone trying to be detached. The same like meditation is not someone trying to be silent, someone trying to be still. Like, oh, I'm going to take that ego and I'm going to put it in the box. It's not, it's totally different. First you see through it. First you take off the layers and see what's beneath. And then that nothingness resting in itself is meditation. That nothingness, seeing and not seeing the world, is detachment. That detachment is love, because it's, what is it seeing, what is it experiencing is the one vibration, the one light existence, the one energy flowing and everything. It is love. So detachment's not like a, take out your whip, here we go, we're gonna detach. It's a natural outcome of being deeply in tune. Otherwise, it's like, oh man, was I attached? Was I too much attached to that one? What about this one? Oh, next time I'm going to be less attached. This is an endless game. You know, who's going to win that one? Trying so hard. Oh, and then that one happened and I'm attached again. You see, the one who can be attached can never be detached. The ego you cannot detach the ego. And the one who is detached has never been attached. At the level of the self, the deep level, has never been attached. So you can't make the ego into the self. Don't try to force the ego into becoming something else. Instead, drop the ego and settle into the deep level. Then everything really, life doesn't need any detachment. The molecules are detaching. Who's detaching? This one? What about you? The cells are detached. Who's attached? So the reason we want to be detached is because it sounds better. It sounds better. It sounds like, okay, that'll help, that'll work. We want a solution. So there's no solution. It's only to sit in the fire. By sitting in the fire, you become like a rock. Because detachment's a fire. Detachment's not like floating on a cloud above everything. Detachment is like the tree, the hollowed out tree that is now burnt to a crisp, that Zen state. That's the detachment. The trip is the quick, the fast way. You can go the slow way or the fast way. The slow way, you gotta piece by piece, pull it apart, put everything in its place, clean up the mess. Right? The fast way, you light a match and set it on fire, and you go immediately to that deep level of that which you are and always have been before you were born, before you had any identity in this lifetime. That same essence in everything. But for that you have to be able to cut cut at the root. So drop everything at once. Like you swallow the whole existence of everything everywhere, every thought of every human and every ant and every fish and all the different, beautiful moments and all the terrible moments of everything that's ever existed anywhere at all time, all at once. Boom, swallow it, and then like a black hole. It's important to understand the essence. Otherwise, we have this idea like, I'm supposed to do that. And so then we try to imitate, we try to force a detachment. We try to force acting a certain way. And this is the real violence. This is the terrible violence. Instead, tune your body, heart, and mind again and again and again and again and again and again. Then when your compass is calibrated, when you're filtered, when the emotions, that tension becomes very soft, you become more sensitive, you can listen and feel very clearly the intuition, this inner knowing. Then this is at the core level, whatever is going on at that deepest level is going to be projected through everything we do. Everything, every word we speak, every thought we think, every action we do, right, is tinged, is painted with that deep level of either tension or whatever it is at the core. And so that's why we want to work at that most deepest level to balance the pressure. You can experience it as a kind of pressure. Has nothing to do with thinking. And so at first it's difficult to clearly isolate the sensation. But if you practice every day, even for 20, 30 minutes a day, the same if you were to practice speaking a language every day for 30 minutes a day, or practice some art or some sport for 30 minutes a day, you would attain a good deal of experience, because this wisdom and knowledge comes through direct experience, not about information. And so you have to go through this process, this alchemy. This is why the teacher training should be 2 years teacher training, 2 to 4 years. 3 weeks, it's like a joke. I mean, it's like a bad joke or something. What can you do in 3 weeks? What can you do and many people don't even know the yoga yet. Like, it's like learning to teach an instrument you don't know. And so one must, like any musician or sports player, you have to go very, very, very deeply into mastering the core language. But the difference is that in a sport or in an art, the performance is a performance based. But in this approach, it has to do with the being yourself. It has to do with this core of aliveness. How can I meditate in busy and loud spaces? So you try meditate in all different spaces. Go all different spaces, all different times, and you see facing different directions. You see which way is north, which way is east. Those are good ways. East, northeast. The electromagnetism of the earth. Have a mat. You take a mat, have a special mat. Dharma grass is really good. The sheepskin, deerskin. But the Dharma mat is really good. And then have some really good earplugs too. Really good earplugs. The wax ones. Aura packs. Or key or whatever. And then experiment, see? You have to train yourself. You have to train. It's not meditate. The point of meditation is not to meditate. So it's not like, it's really about shifting the rhythm, shifting your life rhythm, recalibrating the subtle rhythm and intentionality and such. And so we have to be more experimental. Everybody's just like, I'm not good at meditation. What does that even mean? It's absurd. It's meaningless. You put the bread in the oven and the bread gets cooked. Is the bread good at being in the oven? It's not about, we have an idea how it's supposed to be what we want or something like that. So this is a problem. But meditation knows what's needed. Meditation is not separate from life or from you. It's just meditation means get the fuck out of the way and let the life flow. And so the life knows what to do. Your body, your cells know what to do. Your organs, your glands know what to do. I don't know what to do. And so we have this trust, this faith that life knows. So what's meditation means? I'm just letting life, I say, okay, I surrender. I've been in a big control trip every moment of every day, really huffing, puffing, pushing my way. And for a moment, I'm going to not do that. I'm going to do the opposite of that. I'm going to not do anything. I'm going to be known. It's a revolution. But we want something every day. I want to meditate so I can get what I want to be. I want to meditate so, I want to be detachment so I don't suffer everything. Everything, as long as we're doing something for a reason, where it's creating that very strong expectation, and then it's, we lose that purity. Like the children, it's not for a reason. It's for the joy of being. It's not for a reason. It's like, yeah, I want to, paint so that I can, get this or I can learn that, whatever. There's a joyful not explosion, but a burst of life that doesn't need a justification or explanation. Doesn't need to make sense, doesn't need to fit with what was before, doesn't need to be a story, and isn't even a big thing. It's went from one thing drops to the next. So this was I read when Osho said that spontaneous. What does it mean to be spontaneous? It means even you don't know what's going to happen next. It's not about, I'm so mysterious, nobody understands. You don't even know what's coming. You don't know the next moment. You don't know the next breath. You don't know the next move. This is that idea, forget yourself. We're so obsessed with ourselves. We can never get it right. If we're honest, we have to step back and see. There's no way to win this game. We're the ones, we put ourselves in an impossible situation. No matter how hard we try, the goal is always over there, never quite enough. And so this is the nature of this, the way things are set up. So we were talking about a radical shift. That the goal is here. The goal is here. Here and now. Not a metaphorical here and now. And so how would we live? How would we live if the purpose of life were now? If this isn't the warm-up or the prep, this is it. Or is it yet to come? It's somewhere else. We have to schedule. I have to check my schedule. We have to be clear. Where is life? Because if it's somewhere where, if we misplace this, let's show you the necklace. Running around looking for the necklace, you're wearing the necklace. So if we misunderstand, then could have serious consequences. Yeah, it's like you score on yourself. Like you can get mixed up which way is the goal, and you run and you score in the opposite direction. This idea we have to prove something in the future. You have to investigate. Can it ever be enough? Even those people who have done the most, do they feel it's enough? Has someone been like, okay, enough, and then it's enough? Because if it's possible, then by all means, do it. But if it's not possible, if it's literally impossible to meet the idea in your mind, then you can be yourself and still life will happen. That's the amazing thing is then it's a relief. It's a release because you can be yourself and still life will happen exactly. So meditation is a kind of death. What a relief. Every night we die, we go to sleep. Finally we go to sleep, a little bit of relief. So in the same way, and when you're sleeping, but keep that attitude when you're waking. This is detachment. To be in the waking state, it's not a pessimism or a kind of a fatalism or a moody philosophical kind of thing. It's because you're one with everything. It's because there's no differentiation between the earth, air, fire, and water that's flowing within this particular moment or anywhere else in anything. This, okay, lightning round. Do you recommend the use of psychedelics or plant medicine in the path of meditation? So I believe in only one path of life. There's life, one life, and it's not a spiritual life or non-spiritual life. There's just one life. As soon as we start to make different lives, different paths, different everything, it becomes very infinite. It's endless. There's no way out. So one life, also, and so for the life, some things are important, like the rhythm. All of life has a rhythm. All of the life is in rhythm. We're also in rhythm. Many layers of biorhythm and different things. But so in order to maintain a healthy rhythm, especially in this very toxic time, very stressful time, is things like fasting, for example. Not eating the food. This is very powerful, not just for your digestion, but for your heart, for your mind, the willpower, creativity, sensitivity, everything. It's very, very important. All the species are doing it in their own way, in the appropriate time. Same like silence. Silence also very purifying, very healing. So another thing that's very healing. Let me say, first we have different problems. Like sometimes you have constipation. You can't go to the toilet. So you have different herbs or tree bark, or different powder now medicines you can take. You have a headache, you take something. You have different things, like a liver problem, there's different medicine. Now you have a problem, your ego is tied in a knot, you're caught in some loop and you're spinning again and again. Disconnected, you feel no joy, you don't feel, you can't feel. Then there's a certain medicine that's very, very useful to reawaken the life within you. And it's psychedelics, plant medicine. Now lots of research going on, especially because of our toxic world, and such high levels of trauma now, or however we frame that, there's this reaction in our nervous system, and so they have incredible research that's showing the benefits of even small doses in short time periods. And so I think, yeah, definitely I would include that as part of the diet, as part of one's diet, which is not just the food you eat. Of course, the food you eat is the diet, but also what you see, what you watch, what you do, the words you speak, the people you're around. This is part of the diet. The books you read, the room, the colors, the clothing you wear. This is one thing I really want to speak. There's some cancer clinics in the U.S., a place called Hippocrates Health and Wigmore Center. They've been doing this for like 100 years or something. I don't know, a long time. And when people come with serious illness, first thing they do, besides the fasting and colonics and all this thing, is all new clothing and bedding, all organic, no chemical dyes, clothing and bedding. We don't understand to what degree we're poisoning ourselves with our homes, our bed, continuously, the clothes. Our skin is a breathing and alive, and so wearing natural fibers, yes. Everything is part of this diet. Creative expression. We need to express. The diet's not just what comes in, it's what goes out. So we need to express so many ways to express creatively. It's not about the product, but the process to dress, to move, to make food, to prepare spaces. There's infinite ways to express oneself, the aliveness. But this is part of the integral diet. Right? Our heart, we need the diet for our heart. We need the nature, to go outside, to be in nature, the elements. Some people the water, some people the air, or the fire. It's good to have them all. This is why the yogis, this is why also in many traditions, every day you keep a sacred space. And you honor the elements. So like light the lamp, fire. You can put the incense is the air. You have some water. You can get water like Ganges, water from the Ganga, or water from some special place for you. Have a holy water. And then you have the flowers. The pushpa is a space. And then the earth can be like a gemstone, or it can be some kind of, they use sandalwood in India, sandalwood paste. But and we can have things like feathers or different metals or seeds. All of this is very useful to connect us with the sacred. Now we're living in a time where nothing has meaning. Everything is just bad. Everything's for sale. Everything is cheap and fake, and it's just, and so that we create a direct connection with that sacred moment, which is beyond space and time, but we want to anchor that within space and time. What is presence? How to be in the presence. So, the present moment is that which can't be known. It's like it's like the point at which everything is coming into existence. The present moment is so it's not about knowing it, but being it, to be in rhythm with that, to surrender to that, because that is everything. Is the idea that life is that which is happening, is this moment. The same in a sports game. It's like, when is the present? It's like they blow the whistle and then the game starts. That's the moment. Now. The game is now. So the same way you blow the whistle, this is now. The presence is now. This one. This moment is present. But it's not my present moment. It's not what I can see and think and feel. The presence is everything happening everywhere at once. It's not an ego. It's not an individual state. That presence is reality. We call the real world also. Everything else is in the mind. But that presence can't be known. And so that's why it's not through the mind that we experience presence, that we experience the peace, that we experience anything, but through the awareness, which is the capacity of the heart. And so the mind is taking things like flower, right? Flower is false. There's no flower. The plant, part of the plant's process is a flowering, but the flower doesn't exist separate from the plant. I used to think there were flowers. I used to think there were weeds and there were flowers. The mind is like this, and then the flower, it cuts it. Okay, a flower. There's no flower. There's different varieties of flowers. Within each variety, each flower is unique. So the mind creates some abstract concept of flower, but there's nothing. Nothing corresponds to that flower. That flower does not exist. The same that my idea of myself is not real, just like that my idea of flower. So the mind is like this, cutting everything into little pieces, but the awareness is different. Instead of like this, the awareness is very wide, vast, like the whole sky. Instead of focusing on one object, it's expansive, it's embracing the beyond. And then in a quiet, subtle presence, it's like experiencing everything within oneself and oneself within everything. And so the awareness is in the nature of the silent heart. And it's in that space that we can truly know. But not through information and analysis, but through the oneness at the level of being, through a connection of being, because there's one being. So presence, it's an orientation also, right? Everyone is a future orienting, trying to get there. Everyone is success is over there, and my story is over there. My story is about the past or the future. An ideal, and life, it would be better if. Everything is if, what if, and everything. So that's a choice. Everyone has a choice. You make your choice. You make your life over there, or you make your life here. So we should ask, why is everyone going over there? What's so good over there? Tell me about it. Send me a postcard. A question about ego. Until 100 years ago, we were never thinking about over there. It's only recently. You see, that's why there's no answer. Because it's like a false conclusion. And so, until recently, we weren't living in this ideal about the future. It would be miserable to live that way. That's why people natural people are so relaxed, because they're just present. It's not this tension like, I gotta get there, I gotta try harder and harder, and this constant, we put ourselves in a situation where under constant pressure to achieve something in the future. But that's an orientation. That's a mode. Presence is a different mode. Okay, last one. Question about ego. I've noticed aspects of my ego that I haven't seen until now. What do I do when I notice? Is my goal to dissolve my ego or become familiar with it? Good question. So who is the I that's separate from the ego? My goal. So there's I and the ego. What is the relationship between these two? This I is still another ego. Okay, so everything is ego. But ego is not a problem. The difficulty is identifying with the ego, or identifying with that deep level. So once you know that you're that, then everything as it is, everything as it is. Every piece is, what they say is it's actually not many things happening. There's one thing. This is one thing that's happening simultaneously together. It's moving together, morphing together. It's not like my body. It's not millions and trillions of little pieces that are somehow working it out. It's just it's just one urge, like that. And in the same way, my body, like the tree, it's one thing. The leaves, each leaf is like, nah, what are you going to be when you grow up? You know, and these, I think I'm going to go over there or something. You know? It's like the leaves are thinking, but who cares? What difference does that make to the tree? Each leaf, each cell of the leaf. Which one is the real one? Which one is the right one? Which one gets the purpose? Who gets to have the purpose? Right? So life is life's purpose. We want some hero story, but the ego, let the ego be. That's what I was saying earlier. We want to make the ego into the self. Impossible. You can't. It's not only impossible, unnecessary. Let the ego be the ego. You are the self. When you become rooted and grounded in that, then everything takes its orbit. The ego will be as the ego. It's because everything is intimately connected. So it's not through the control, but through beingness. No? And if it doesn't work, then you can just throw it out. But the possibility is radical, right? If it's understanding what I'm saying, then it's like that, it could be a miracle. So it's worth investigating. No, nothing to fix. You don't have to fix the ego. You don't have to fix the past. You don't have to learn any new tricks. None, not even one. No. Just drop everything and come to that deepest level where you can't know, where there's nothing to know, nothing to prove, anything. And be free, be quiet for a minute, every day. That, you put the virus and the program in the computer, it takes over the computer, it affects it. In the same way, you infect your system with this program, it's going to change everything. It's going to recalibrate and tune everything. So then you can know for yourself. The path of yoga always has been experiential, experimental path. And the yogis were scientists. It's not this just like chasing rainbows and butterflies and do what you feel like kind of thing. And that's cool too. Like it's great. We gotta let loose. And I'm a dancer. I think dancing is important. And challenging ourselves as well, like, oh look, I can do it. But really, it's kind of like distracting from the core, which is like to be deeply present at home in yourself, to be at home in yourself, here and now. Not for 5 years from now. It's not even in 5 months from now. You are that. It's a remembering. So you have to be very strict. Initially, you have to be strict because otherwise we just the same patterns and habits and tendencies. And we're all the time hard on ourselves inside. And saying negative things. So we have to be strict, like a military, like an army training for the first 100 days or 300 days or something. Enough words. Take a moment to come back to center. Keep coming back to center. eventually you are so deeply centered you forget yourself. Close your eyes, look up at the top of your head, breathe slowly. Practicing in no mind. Actively not knowing, not looking, not trying, not trying. Not remembering, not comparing. First, be no one. First thing, first step, be no one. Just for a moment. This is a peace. We'll close chanting Om one time. Inhale deeply. Om.